prevent all diseases, degenerative diseases, is going to be one that includes at least 70% of your food coming from whole, fresh foods. Of course, we know, we trust much more the journal, we trust much more the PCRM, which says anything which is over 6,000 physicians, which states that anything contrary to a vegan diet is contrary to good health. So you're still going to find issues coming up as long as you are eating not only animal protein, but also cooked animal protein. So then the second principle was exercise. The third principle was attitude. If you think life sucks, yeah, it really sucks. If you think life is good, you got to have the attitude. Life is good. You got to upgrade your own attitude. And how do you do that? Oh, all your crazy head thoughts, all your unhappiness is the fact that your hypothalamus is gathering information about the world, and the world is totally set up to make you depressed and sick. So what you're doing is gathering all this information from your sensory data, and hypothalamus summarizes, creates little CDs, DVDs, and sends it over to your pituitary glandular system, which takes that information, does a viewing, and sends out commands to your glandular system, to your metabolism, how to respond to the outside of your body stress. Okay? So you got all this crazy stuff coming in. When it's coming in, well, it leads to crazy mind. And do you realize in yoga, this is the hardest thing to do, is to discipline that mind? Basically, to shut off your mind, to go into mindlessness. Well, there's a technique you can find on internet space called tapping. Some people use just jarring, you know. But that used to be good for records. But now with CDs, all you have to do is tap. Tap a few times, and out goes away your thought. Any little distraction. You can sing a song, but tapping might be easier. Or you tap it on like this over there, so you don't look like weird. Some might say, oh, you got palsy or something like that, Parkinson. No. I'm just applauding the universe in a new fashion. That will shut off the crazy thoughts. You keep doing it. Eventually, you don't give the energy to your crazy thoughts, and now you're happy all the time. What are you doing? Also, jacking up your energy field to your brain by becoming alkaline. Your physical strength is increasing because of alkalinity, and also your mental energy, because the more you alkalize your body, the only food that is alkalizing is blue-green algae and nothing else. Oh, you think I'm crazy. No, of course. I'm just pulling your leg right now. Blue-green algae, yes, it is alkalizing. So is wheatgrass. All raw foods are alkalizing, with exception acid and subacid fruit. They're very acid to the point they're almost like vinegar. You know, taste after you've been alkaline, bite into a grape, and it feels like you're having a little vinegar attack. Everything, because they're picked unripe and then grown in poor quality soil. Your melons are alkaline, but it's the green things that are really most beneficial and therapeutic for yourself. So alkalizing. And when you alkalize your system, your electrovoltage of each cell increases, you have more power to the brain. And when you learn to silence your mind with tapping, meditation, getting into that stillness, going into, you heard of that term, be alone? Do you know what happens when you're alone? All becomes one. That's in the word alone. All one, alone. When you are truly alone, means you have disengaged yourself from the Webster Dictionary, from your mind, from all the worldly stuff. You entered into a total stillness. You become a genius. You become totally enlightened. You have access to total knowledge. I used to use these techniques when I was in graduate school. I led a bohemian life, but I was a theoretical mathematician. So sometimes I wouldn't go to classes for a whole month. I'd come in for exams, practicing maybe 2-3 days of not studying. No, I was practicing mindlessness, knowing nothing. shutting off my mind. I'd walk in, stay away from all the crazy people with all the bad smogs in their heads, vibrating, fearing. I had no doubt, because as soon as I experienced doubt, my brain is gone. Forget it. No, I walked into that class, I sat down, I came in always late for exam, because I didn't want to deal with any of the people around there. I sat down, and I read the questions. And I wrote all the answers. I didn't know what the hell I was writing. Who cares? I wanted that A. And that's exactly what I got. I wrote dissertations that no one else could do in theoretical mathematics or in psychology. I took courses in advanced psychology. I didn't know those answers. You have access to divine knowledge. You're totally, everything that you need is available to you. That's how you are. You are godlike in nature. Divinely made. Meditate and pray. This is your entry to total knowledge, total wisdom. And when you do an alkaline diet, you start becoming, guess what? Beyond the senses. You become senseless, beyond the senseless. You have now access, instinctual. You become instinctual. Instinctual. You know what that is all about? In Krakatoa, that island blew apart. And the sailors and captains entered in their logbooks who were in ships around that island. They saw all these wild animals leaving the island 2-3 days before the island exploded. Did they know something that is good to know? Instinctual information is always available. How to take most appropriate action under duress. But they are on an alkaline diet, they are on enzymatic nutrition, they're eating foods that are appropriate to them. You had recently, on the Pacific Rim, just recent time, the tsunamis came. What were the elephants doing days ahead? They headed for the higher ground. What were a lot of the animals doing? Heading for the higher grounds. They knew the tsunami was on the way and it was going to wipe out the coastal properties. When Hurricane Andrew hit Florida, I was living then in a pretty darn happy, fancy home. Before that, I was renting a mansion, and I was very blessed to be with the most deliciously delightful woman, Yukta. You can visit her, yukta.org, youkta.org. And we moved. We moved a week before that. Why did we move? We moved out to Arkansas. That whole area was wiped out. So much damage, trees and everything. We move ahead of the storms.